Candidly.
Jim, I want to give people an idea of what you consider to be a good investment, perhaps not in the immediate term, but over time. And one thing you flagged is water.
Right.
Which I find very curious, because you're a big fan of real assets, and we could call water a real asset even if it's hard to get your hands around, if it's not frozen. This is the question I have for you. I like the idea. Look, I come from a country that's rich in water resources, right? Canada. And lots of people want it. But the problem is it's hard. Water is controlled by public utilities largely. It's hard to invest in. There is an ETF that tracks companies in the water infrastructure and equipment business. Guggenheim runs it. And it has dramatically underperformed the S&P 500 over the past 5 years.
Right. The problem is you're investing in utilities, by and large, pumping systems, which are all controlled by state and local regulators, and they have limits on the tariffs. Look, water is a global commodity. Oil is a global commodity, right? When you want to put gas in your car, do you drill for oil in your backyard? No. You go to the gas station. Where did the oil come from? Probably Venezuela or Nigeria. That industry has had 150 years to build out the infrastructure of tankers, pumps, refineries, trucks, etc. Nothing comparable exists in water. It's local, it's regulated, it's political, it's subsidized. We're lacking the infrastructure. But there's a serious side to this, which is drought. We all know what's going on in California, Beijing, Texas,
Sao Paulo,
all around the world. And we're going to have the World Cup in Qatar with 9 air-conditioned stadiums. Where are they going to get that water? So the point is, this is starting to change, and the real bellwether was Saudi Arabia. Because they're losing their oil revenues are down so much, they're reducing subsidies to address their fiscal situation. They're taking away some of the subsidies on water. So the price of water just went up significantly in Saudi Arabia.
So how do you invest?
Exactly.
How do you invest in water then?
Well, just to declare interest, Eric, my son is running a company that's the co-inventor of the world's first water cost index. His partner is IBM. IBM is the calculation agent. So this is the Case-Shiller or the Dow Jones of water. And they talked to Harvard Endowment. Harvard Endowment wanted all of their products because they said, hey, we invest in water all over the world, but we have no benchmark. We have no way of knowing what we're doing. So this water cost index is a way to understand your performance and see.
Well, that understands it, but how do you invest in it?
Well, we just did a deal. We bought portable desalination plants. We put them in the desert in Saudi Arabia, so we have a monopoly position selling water in the desert. And we did that deal before Saudi took away the subsidies. Now that the price of water is going up, we get the government price, so our revenues went up significantly with no increase in our costs.
But for the economics of sort of coastal or desert desalination to be borne out, people have to be forced to pay something closer to the market value of water. Well, like in California, for example, there's a reason people aren't conserving water. It's because they don't have to pay for it.
Right. Except now they're being forced to conserve, and neighbors are spying on neighbors, and they're ratting out people, watering the lawns.
Well, that's one incentive.
Well,
right?
that's the other side of the coin. If you're not willing to let it move to a market price or pursue market-based solutions, you are going to get this kind of severe rationing, and there'll be a political backlash against that. This is a big problem. It's a global problem, but it's happening.
But there are real social problems with going to a purely market-based approach to water. So rich people get to drink a lot and poor people can't drink. Right. That's not very palatable.
Right. Well, I've raised money and counsel in the private side of this, and we get beaten up by the NGOs. They're like, you guys, water is a human right. And I was like, okay, it's a human right. People should have water. Our private sector solutions will get more water to people faster than the UN talking about it for the next 30 years.
Julius Baer Group. This is Switzerland's 3rd largest wealth manager after UBS and Credit Suisse.